Welcome to this recap of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Chup.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It just finished. We had our time to process the series. And, what are your thoughts on the series as a whole?
As a whole, I think it's great. It's a nice, solid MCU movie, but spread out across, 6 episodes. Now that I think about it, I'm glad it wasn't more than 6.
Same.
Like, at first...
I feel the same way.
At first, I was like, oh, it's only 6. But then I was like, after seeing it, I'm like, because, it didn't give it too much time to be meandery, Like, it didn't, there's a couple points where it meandered or kind of got weird editing-wise, but otherwise, it was to the point enough for a TV show and for that type of superhero situation. How about you?
I wanted to think that maybe they decided against making this a movie and just split it into 6 parts.
Dude, it had to be. Especially with those last 2 episodes. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Because the first 4 episodes I had no issue with. It's the 5th and 6th episode when I was like, okay. Because, the scene, everything in it, I was fine with. It was just, pacing and, the editing of it was weird. Where, if it was binge-watched or assembled together as one long movie,
yeah,
it would have made more sense. Because I feel starting the 5th episode with the John Walker fight...
Yeah, right off the bat. It seems
right
like
off the bat,
a continuation from the last episode.
Yeah, exactly. And then it ended, and then you're the rest of the episode, you're just kind of meandering, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of a bunch of random scenes, all good scenes. Don't get me wrong; they weren't bad scenes. It's just after you start it with all that, and then the action just drops, and then it's okay, and then you're left with the boat montage and shit like that, which just felt really weird and out of place. Well, not out of place, but weird to be the core middle section of an episode, right?
Yeah. What?
And much the same thing happened with the 6th episode, where the end of the 5th episode is building the momentum to Sam, putting on the costume.
Right. Anticlimactic reveal for the most part. Yeah,
the reveal had happened right away and was real anticlimactic. If it would have followed the scene where he gets the box with it,
yep,
and then he pops in to that fight, and that was the end of the episode when he was in full costume. Great.
Oh yeah,
but
great cliffhanger. Or oh my god, there he is. The last button to end the scene on. That'd be great.
Yeah, but the fact they started the episode with that, it was just okay, because you don't have that built-up tension or that built-up anticipation from that 5th episode, especially if it's in a non-binge format where it's a weekly series. It just felt weird at the beginning of the episode. And then you have essentially your final fight in the first 10 minutes of the episode, and then the final fight's over. You know what I mean? And then again, you're left with kind of meandering different scenes. Again, all good scenes, all scenes I enjoyed, but it was just okay. It was weird.
I would say that this season as a whole was great at diving into the backstory of Sam Wilson.
Yep.
And his motives and where he's coming from as far as being a superhero. He doesn't have superpowers, but he has a mind and a conscience on him that wants to do good. He's not like a typical superhero.
Yeah, solidifying the traits and the ideas that he had when we met him, but didn't get much shine, right? And kind of delving a little more into it.
Yeah, I think that he gets his character out there, and we understand him more as a character and not just a side character. As Captain America, like his buddy. He had a lot of good scenes at the end to kind of encapsulate where his ideals and like Captain America's ideals of like how we can do better, even though he didn't really give good examples on like how they can do better. He just kind of said, "No, do better," and they're like,
"Right,
oh, yep, we will, Captain America. Anything you say."
Right.
He didn't like, he wasn't like backing. He wasn't backing up his statements or his platitudes. He's just like, "Do better, guys. Come on, you have one job. Don't call them terrorists."
Right, and I think like, as far as like that part where he's talking to the whatever the fuck that made up group is at the end, the fact that like they kind of know what he's talking about, but like, see, he's like to the point where like I think he's like, I don't have to explicitly state this for you to know what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also just trying to spare us from fake geopolitics,
Yeah. It was a little ham-fisted, but I can.
Oh, it was.
I can let it slide because it shows the platonic ideal of Captain America, and
and I think one of the stronger things that they imparted about Sam in this was that, like, with a lot of it, obviously he has to contend with, what he thinks the ideal of Captain America is and what his, like, what he thinks or knows, like, it should be. And, like, and also dealing with, like, obviously the stuff that, some of the stuff that gets brought up with Isaiah, when he's talking to him, and it was kind of, Isaiah has the kind of, I don't want to say defeatist, but like to a degree of just like, what's the point of fighting for this country that hasn't fought for you type of situation.
Exactly. He doesn't think that the country cares about him, and
and that nothing will change. And Sam, like, on the opposite way, is just like, these terrible things are happening, but like, who am I? Like, it's, instead of giving up on my country, I want to do my part to display why, like, this is an ideal that we should fight for,
right? For
everybody,
And it was a good scene when like everybody was, the cameras are rolling on him, and the camera pans by Walker, and Walker kind of just looks like, oh, I get it. That's why he didn't want to take up the mantle initially, because he would be ridiculed from everybody around him, and he kind of kept that inside. Like, I don't want to put on the Captain America suit because I'll just be scorned and looked at as like this somebody that is not like them. He doesn't have blue eyes and blonde hair like Steve Rogers. He just, and you can see on Walker's face, he's like, oh damn, I shouldn't have taken this from this guy, because he actually deserves it more than anybody. Which was kind of sad, but it was hopeful in the sense that Walker's like, all right, I'm just not going to be Captain America. I see that it is this idea that is bigger than what I am, and I just can't. I can't do it. He shouldn't do it.
I saw pointed out that I didn't think about or recall, or remember, because I mean the last time I saw the movie was, almost 10 years ago. It was in the first Captain America movie, Dr. Erskine, the guy who created the super soldier serum,
Stanley Tucci,
the Tooch, said to I think to Steve, either to Steve or when he's explaining why Steve to like Tommy Lee Jones and fucking Peggy Carter. I don't remember who he was saying it to, but he says like the super soldier serum and this Captain America along with it, technically, is like he doesn't want it. It shouldn't go to a perfect soldier. You want a good man, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we got in this series, is that dichotomy. You have Sam, the good man, and you have Walker, the perfect soldier, right?
Right.
And you see why that doesn't work. Yeah, it I was like, oh wow, that was a whole kind of, arc of this series that I didn't even realize at the moment.
Yeah, I think I made that connection. I think a little bit when they talked about it. Like, it brings out the best and worst in people. The serum, like, if you take the serum, you're just gonna get the worst version of yourself. Even if you're like, if you're a super soldier that's trained, to just kill, it's gonna be vamped up, and he's gonna be freaking going out and mass murdering dudes that are helpless.
Yeah, it amplifies who you are at the core, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very interesting. And then Bucky,
good callback, though, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then Bucky and all this, he got closure, but what's interesting is he's still kind of left kind of on his own, right? Like, he doesn't really have a place now.
I think he's in good graces with Wakandans. He might do something with them in the future.
He is, but I mean, like he's still, for all intents and purposes, alone, right?
Yeah, very much. He's definitely a lone wolf.
He's got Sam now. You know what I mean? They're better friends, but for all intents and purposes, there wasn't a bright and shiny ending for him.
No, he's a tortured soul.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I love that about him. That he's in constant fear of being a letdown, and he's always going to be this lone wanderer, like God's lonely man, just him against the world.
There wasn't a clean cut solution,
Yeah,
or resolution.
Well, because I think he does have to atone more, and he has to do better from all the history of being brainwashed.
Well, yeah. His work's not done,
right? What'd you feel about the main baddie, if you can even call her that, Carly?
Carly,
and her whole arc, and her, I guess, the way she went about saying that they aren't terrorists, even though they did terrorism.
Yeah,
they blew up innocent people, like
right. But even like, at least she had a clear-cut motive, unlike a lot of the MCU bad guys, where you're just like, okay, they're just doing this. But like, I don't know. There was never, I don't think, going to be a real truly satisfying conclusion to that.
Right.
I don't even remember. How did she... Oh, Sharon shot her. That's what happened.
Yeah, did you feel that was kind of not earned from Sharon? Like, I thought it would have been Walker to do it. And I don't
Sharon
know.
was in one episode, and then plus like a couple scenes, and then just pimps in and shoots her.
Yeah.
It more served Sharon's story than it did the story of the show / the character's motivations or lack thereof,
Yeah.
Or not lack thereof, but you know what I mean.
I kind of think it was stolen from Walker a little bit, because he felt so bad about Jamal dying. Like, he should have just came in. Like, it would have been great because he did show up. He did.
I mean, like,
he was there
for that fight, and you thought there was going to be this big reckoning, but it was just a kind of a chase, right?
Right.
That ended up with, what happened. It was weird.
So I don't know if it was earned, but I mean, finding out that Sharon either has ties to or is the power broker was kind of
the power broker.
Yeah, is the power broker.
Carly straight up called her that.
I know, like, so she does have ulterior motives, which is kind of interesting. Like, kind of sets up stuff.
Like I said, it serves her story, but that's the thing too. It's like the worst kept secret of the show too. that
Right.
she is the power broker.
I know.
And like even the post credit scene was just like, okay, I guess. You know?
Right.
Like again, might have worked better if this was a long ass movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it could have been cut down into just a movie length, like 3 hours. Like it would have
Yeah.
been it would have been fine. Like there are good arcs within this. Like you said, the first 4 episodes are just mwah, chef
Fine.
kiss.
Yep. Perfectly fine. It's just once you get to the end there, things start to get rushed a little bit, move a little fast, do some weird choices of where to start and stop an episode. One thing that did bug me, which is just a thing about these types of movies in general, is our main fight being a nighttime fight scene. You know?
Yeah.
Because we know why would they do this at this point.
Yep.
Well, at least we do.
We've known
Like-
from like Godzilla, the Kong Skull Island, and
All that shit.
the Godzilla versus King of Monsters or whatever it is called, the newer
Yeah.
Godzilla. Like everything takes place at night to hide either bad CGI or rush CGI
Yep.
to
Or you know, potentially subpar looking like fights. You know what I mean? Like to make
Yeah.
it look more, because then you can do some quick cuts and shit, and action is blurred, so you can't see.
like in
What's
Wonder Woman
happening quite-
1984
Yep.
cheetah fight.
So like, other than Sam's like flying things, there was no need for that really. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't enough extensive CGI stuff for that to require that, with the exception of Sam and the helicopters whole thing, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to spew some like philosophy that I have on his reveal with the new suit was like,
Yeah.
like you said, in the pitch of night, we're seeing the introduction here on the screen. It would have hit me more to see this, you know, when you look at Superman in the sky, it's always brightly lit. The sun is shining on him, either from, you can see his silhouette flying through the sky, and he's just so hopeful and beautiful looking, like serene
He's bright.
blue sky.
And he's kind of a sun god too, right?
Yeah, he's a sun
derives his
god.
power from the sun. So.
But like the idea of America, you know, the rising sun of, you know, on Purple Mountain's majesty, you know, like those ideas of America.
The bright and shiny ideal. Right?
You would want him to be lit by the sun and look hopeful and not like in this dark, dreary cityscape. You want to see him like, you know.
Could you imagine if there was like
lit.
a shot from the ground? If there was a shot from the ground and you see something flying through the air, and then it gets lost in the sun, and then it's coming at you then at the camera, and then it's Sam, and then he pulls up and his wings are spread and he's silhouetted by the sun as he lands.
Even that
would have been sweet, you know.
That would have been, just like, I love the scene when he was carrying Carly, though, on, like, his angel wings, like, floating down. That was great. That was a good scene of him. He's, like, he's the savior. But I would have liked his reveal a little bit better. Like, I liked the shield blasting in and then him blasting, and that was great.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, like, I don't know, something more majestic and poetic, but...
Well, what's funny is it was a spoiled reveal too, because you see it, even though it's shrouded in darkness, you still see it pretty good as he's flying in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's not. If it was a motion blur and he just flew by really fast, and then you just see the figure tuck and roll through the window, and then he stands up, and then you see it, you know, that's cool too. But like in this situation, like that would have been better. But with this, like you saw it already when he pulled in, and then you just get a less dark reveal. Oh yeah, Batroc gets rocked.
Yeah, this whole side plot of getting the hostages out, and then Sharon figuring out that you know, these guys are they're using Bucky as a decoy to let them escape.
Right. The costume looks great, by the way.
Oh yeah, the Falcon or Captain America's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like
it looks exactly like the comic.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's super faithful to the comic iteration. Another thing someone pointed out that I read online was some symbolism in Walker's costume specifically, and then you kind of get it you bring it back then with Sam's costume. Walker's Captain America costume is completely lacking in white, right?
True.
It's just red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the star, I guess, but that's like it, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the flag goes, the symbolism of white on the flag is purity, right?
Yeah.
So Walker lacks the purity, and that Steve had.
Right.
And then Falcon, then when he gets his, there's so much white on that costume, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's already part of the costume, like the comic one, but like if you view it through that lens, it's a nice little piece of symbolism as well.
It works on so many levels because he's untainted by the super serum too.
Mm-hmm.
He's pure. He's a pure boy.
Yep.
It's layered in its meaning, which is great.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna watch a real quick scene here of Falcon using his awesome shield or his wings as like a shield.
Yeah.
Boom.
That was cool.
I love it. Just
That was really cool.
A great use of his wings as like a little shielding, with along with the shield as like a little phalanx.
Right, and it works great too. Obviously, like, because when I first heard about him becoming Captain America in the comics, and I was like, well, is he gonna have his wings or no?
Yeah.
Because he's Captain America, right?
Yeah.
But his wings are such a big part of the character. And then when they debuted it, he did have the wings. And I was like, well, actually, that's kind of perfect because, you know, America, it's the fucking eagle, right?
Eagle's wings.
So, yeah, so it's like, it's kind of perfect. And it looks nice there, too.
Yeah, I mean, the Wakandans, they went all out to really promote America there.
Dude, they kill it, dude. The Wakandans kill it.
They were super nice.
You saw their eye for design in fucking Black Panther.
Yeah, their design
in everything, their city, their clothes, their technology, like.
Oh yeah,
they know what they're doing.
It's a good gift to an American soldier to give him, like, you know, wings that match your suit. It's beautiful,
right? And I bet those bitches are probably made out of vibranium too, huh?
Yeah, that's where the big deposit is, right? It's in Wakanda.
Yeah. They because that's, you know, because that's the other thing is it's where the vibranium to make Cap's shield comes from. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So that's probably why that bitch just bounced right off him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sweet. No, one thing we never talked about, was there's another, like, there's a character in this show who is a character from the comics that I failed to bring up when we talked about it the first time. In the show, he's his, like, that military buddy of his.
Yeah, he becomes the new Falcon.
Yeah. In the comic books, he's like
Ramirez? What's his name? Ramirez?
Joaquin. Yeah, Joaquin something.
Joaquin. Yeah, he shows up when they do that that final talk at the end. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's in the comics if he was, because I didn't read the stories that he was in, but I don't know if he was like an Inhuman or something, but he actually had like real wings and shit. Like he was kind of like mutated in some way. But that gives then symbolism to when, Sam, his Falcon wings busted, and he gave them to him, and it was just like, here, you have them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
a little symbolism there.
Oh, and he was obsessed with the Red Wing too. Like when at the first episode, he's like, "You got to put that conduit there or something," and he's like, "I know what I'm doing. Like this is my."
Yeah, he was showing interest from the get-go, so now he has the wings, right?
Yep.
Isaiah's stuff in this episode was really good too.
Yeah, the reveal at the end where they actually paid tribute to him.
Yeah, with the statue and like the tablet and stuff. Yeah, that guy right there, Joaquin. Yeah, and the scene that when Sam goes to his house too before that was good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it provides a nice kind of little cherry on top there for that character, and because it's like you saw there when he sees Sam on TV, and you see this look of shock, but also of shock, like he's surprised at how like powerful that image is to him,
Yeah.
And I like that Eli got a little more stuff to say. Like everything with Marvel, they introduce these characters that in the comics eventually go on to do something.
Yeah.
But they kind of wait to see how reactions to things are before they're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead with this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, because like we've heard it a bunch of times, like in regards to like the Black Widow movie, people asking if Florence Pugh's character, the second Black Widow in the comic books, Yelena Belova, that's her name, if she's going to be the new Black Widow in the MCU, and they're kind of, I don't know if it was like producers or writers, director, or if it was herself, but it was just like, gotta wait and see if people like it, and then maybe. And then they said that too with fucking Wyatt Russell was interviewed the other day, and he was talking about like if he knows if there's going to be more, John Walker stuff, and he's just like, we don't know yet. This is like, that's kind of the cool thing with Marvel is they'll put something in there, and then if people like it, then they'll pick up on it. So it's kind of the same thing, I think, with Eli as well. It's like, put them in there, and then if enough people are like, yeah, cool, then they might continue, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, they're, like we've talked about a bajillion times, the pieces are in place to start doing Young Avengers stuff. So.
Yep, that, and what'd you call it before, the Thunderbolt Initiative?
Thunderbolts was a possibility for where Walker ends up. That's the thing too, is fucking the U.S. Agent costume looked fucking awesome.
Yep. Pretty faithful.
Turbo accurate. But that what we see here, there's a couple options to what happens with Walker here. You have either, because Contessa is kind of serving like a dark version of Nick Fury in this.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, Nick Fury's already a little bit, in the dark too.
But I mean, like a darker version where Nick Fury is ultimately on the side of good.
Yeah, more nefarious. More nefarious.
Yeah,
side
you don't
of things.
know. We don't know what Contessa's plans are. It seems a little shady, right?
Yeah.
And so a couple options of what could happen with this is there's the Thunderbolts thing, which could happen unless they save that for Zemo to do in the future. Or there's also a thing in the comics called the Dark Avengers, which was um, after an event called Secret Invasion, which is a TV series they have coming out soon, where you Skrulls have infiltrated Earth, and they've been there for a long time. There's at the end of it, Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, ends up killing the Skrull Queen, and it's on camera. So he gets lauded for his heroics, and essentially gets put in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. He forms his own group of Avengers, and in a similar way to the Thunderbolts, where they're a bunch of villains under different guises, this is a bunch of villains, but as representations of different heroes. So, like, there's on the Dark Avengers, there's Spider-Man, but it's actually Mac Gargan, who is mainly known as the Scorpion, but at the time was Venom. So he had the black suit, right?
Uh-huh.
And you had Hawkeye, which was actually Bullseye, the Daredevil villain.
Yeah.
And you had, you know what I mean? So there was Miss Marvel, but it was actually this character Moonstone or whatever. So it's like you had these dark versions of the heroes on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be doing that with you got your Dark Captain America there. You have U.S. Agent. If you wanted, I saw some articles where, like, who could be in the Dark Avengers in this. They could bring, and I think he might. I don't remember if I heard that he was coming back for She-Hulk or not, but you could bring Abomination in, right?
Okay.
From the first Hulk movie, the Ed Norton Hulk movie.
Yeah, what's his name? Roth? Tim Roth?
Yeah, Tim Roth. You could bring him back. You could use Agatha Harkness if you wanted to.
Cool.
As like a Dark Scarlet Witch. You could use, who else? Shit. I mean, there are such, because obviously with superheroes, one of the more interesting bad guys is the dark reflection of the hero, right?
Yeah.
So there are options. They could put together a Dark Avengers team, right?
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No. And there's some interesting things with, so we've got Hawkeye coming out, right? We also have the Armor Wars series with War Machine in it. And all three of those characters, Hawkeye, War Machine, and U.S. Agent, were on a couple teams together. There's the West Coast Avengers, which is just as it sounds.
Yeah.
It's a West Coast team of Avengers. And then there's also a team called the Brothers in Arms, which was just those three characters, was U.S. Agent, War Machine, and Hawkeye. So there's some possibilities there as well, where U.S. Agent could eventually end up. But I mean, there's obviously, this is essentially like Contessa's, like, you know, this is our Dark Avengers initiative type situation, which I think might be where this is headed. Oh, the other one that people brought up was Yelena Belova, Black Widow as well,
being part of the Dark Avengers. Yeah, I could see that.
So like, that's a potential where this could go, especially, you know, we'll see post Armor Wars and especially post Secret Invasion. You know, if Contessa ends up saving the day via her little squad she's put together, you know, then we could see a Dark Avengers maybe coming out of this.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Skrulls actually in What was it?
Captain Marvel.
Not just that, but we saw it in WandaVision too. Didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, I thought somebody. Well, there's a reference to Skrulls, isn't there? Like,
they talk about it. Yeah. Because in the Skrulls again, they pop up in what movie was that?
Oh, they're talking about. Oh, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Ramirez or what Joaquin says like Captain America's on the moon. Doesn't he say that line? Yeah. And that's where Nick Fury is with Skrulls, right?
Yep.
So there is constant references in these shows to Skrulls being more involved, and there should be a Secret Invasion movie dropping then.
And well, it's a TV show. They are doing a TV show,
TV show.
Yeah, with Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn reprising their roles. Because where did Sam Jackson pop up in the post-credit scene where he was seen in space with the Skrulls? Was that Endgame? What was that?
I don't remember. I don't think it was Endgame. Was it?
What was the post-credits of Endgame? Do you remember?
No, I don't. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It probably could have been.
It wasn't Captain Marvel.
No.
It was one of the ones after it. So it had to be one of those.
It probably is Endgame. But yeah, he's on the moon.
Right. And like with Secret Invasion, I mean, it didn't need to be a special sect of Skrulls because the Skrulls are just bad guys in general in Marvel Comics. But like in the Secret Invasion storyline, it was like a super religious sect that followed this queen. And they had strategically replaced people, including heroes. You know, heroes, people in the government, like even just normies, you know, like they've infiltrated throughout the decades since they first came to Earth, have been, you know, kind of replacing people. So
yeah, I'd say that it's more likely that maybe U.S. Agent is going to be part of the Secret Invasion squad.
Yeah. And I could see him maybe popping up in Armor Wars, but
okay,
for sure I see him in Secret Invasion. And like, because in Secret Invasion, it's going to be, you know, like a sect of the Skrulls that are on Earth that are, you know, bad actors essentially. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'll, I think that would be the most logical place for Walker to show up again.
I agree.
And then we did get the announcement after, like the next day or whatever, that of Captain America 4.
Yeah. Yep, that's
which will be
happening.
Co-written by the showrunner of this, of Falcon Winter Soldier. So that'll be cool too. And now then I wonder who the bad guy for that will be, right? That's a little less clear cut because Sam doesn't have any, you know, special bad guys, you know?
No.
It's, you know, it's just Captain America bad guys. So it's like, who's it going to be?
And it's hard to say how many other people they're going to let like cross-pollinate with that storyline. Like, are they going to have Winter Soldier a part of it? He might not even.
We almost have to, right? Like, where else is he going to pop up?
You might, yeah. I mean, he could be in Black Panther. If they make another Black Panther 2, he's going to be back with Wakanda.
That's possible.
Because I almost think, like, Sam needs his own standalone without the help of another person. He just needs to fight some kind of baddie,
right,
by himself, and not have, you know, other people jump in on his show.
I'm just trying to think of who would be a good bad guy for that.
Who would be the baddie? Maybe some I don't know. I think that they're gearing up towards, at least with WandaVision, it's definitely leading towards branching realities and alternate timelines, because if Loki's any indication, and we'll talk about that in another episode, Loki is definitely leading towards this what is that, multiverse dimension big super event that's going to happen, because Loki's going to be fucking with time.
Yeah. And a lot of people think the next like big bad would be Kang the Conqueror, who is someone that's going to be showing up in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania or whatever the fuck it's called, which is also a dimensional thing, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of where MCU is going right now, I think, is like multi-dimensional stuff. And Captain America could maybe have a little bit of that, but I don't know if it even
I don't know,
warrants it.
because the Captain Americas have been more grounded, right?
Yeah, I know it's going to involve Joaquin. I know he's going to be a part of it. So he's going to have help with that. Like Falcon is going to show up again. So there's that at least.
Falcon Part 2.
Are there any Sam Wilson Captain America baddies that warrant having a movie?
That's what I'm saying. No, Captain America period only has like a handful of bad guys, right?
Yeah.
And we've cranked through them. I mean, fucking Red Skull, boom. Fucking Zemo, boom. Fucking Hydra in general, and Strucker and stuff like that, boom.
Well, we could have Sharon come back as Power Broker. She could be doing some nefarious shit.
Yeah, but she doesn't strike me as main bad guy material. But I don't know. Like, because, I mean, she has broken bad in the comics, but, like, in the end has always come back to being good. Man, who the fuck else? They did Flag Smashers were a thing in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they've done that.
Zemo maybe.
I said that, Zemo, but like, what would he be doing? You know what I mean? Like, the only thing I can think of is they're just keeping Zemo in their pocket for Thunderbolts.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Arnim Zola, like he's taken care of, unless they decide to fucking dust him off again for some reason. I mean, there's a lot of spy shit. I mean, he could contend with whatever the fuck, like, because in the comics, to Contessa, before she kind of takes over Hydra, is the leader of like a Russian version of Hydra, kind of called Leviathan.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess there's that potentially, because it, like, outside of Civil War, the other Captain Americas, the first one was a war movie, a period movie, but it was, kind of spec ops type stuff that he was doing, and then Winter Soldier, it was, like a spy thriller. So, like, it's got to be something in that similar vein. I just don't know. Let me do a little quick look at Captain America bad guys. I'm sure I'm missing some.
Well,
I guess they could resurrect the
Red
Skull if they wanted
to. I was gonna say Red Skull's like the main one.
It'd be fitting for the current era too. But
yeah, that's true.
Right. Let's see. List of Captain America enemies. The first one, Adolf Hitler. Yeah, and yes.
Red Guardian.
There's AIM. But he's gonna be in Black Widow, and he's already kind of a comedic.
Yeah,
kind of nice.
They're already making him a comedy thing.
Yeah. There's AIM, which is another terrorist organization, but they're scientists. There's Alexander Lukin, maybe. In the comic books, he was the one I think that had control over Winter Soldier for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Zola, blah blah blah.
Yellow Claw. That's kind of
Baron Blood.
That's kind of bad.
Yellow Claw, we had that though. Like we didn't have that, but like that's who Sam Wilson was pretending to be when he was in Madripoor.
That's right. Oh man.
Was the Yellow Claw? Yeah. Baron Strucker was already taken care of. There's Zamo, Batroc the Leaper, who's already taken care of.
Nightshade sounds cool.
Black Talon, Blackwing, Blue Streak. I'm trying to find like big guys. I guess there's the Serpent Society.
It sounds
which
awesome.
Are just a bunch of
King Cobra,
a bunch of snake themed bad guys. Yeah, there's
that's perfect for you, Bracho.
I know, right? There's Constrictor. There's
King Cobra. Right?
Fucking, we've already seen a couple of them. Fucking Cottonmouth and oh, what's his nuts?
Cottonmouth Kings.
No, Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. There's
Okay.
Cottonmouth.
Oh yeah, that guy. I remember him.
The character that was played by Mahershala Ali.
Yep.
And then there was the other one that comes back at the end, Diamondback.
Okay.
He was one too. There's Crossbones, who's already been taken care of. There's Dr. Faustus, the psychiatrist, criminal mastermind. I think he had to do with some of the brainwashing of Winter Soldier as well. Flag Smasher's already taken care of.
They could just do MODOK.
Right. There's but we kind of already just did a dark version of Captain America. There's a character called Grand Director who was a retroactively, like, okay, because in the comic books, Captain America, like, it wasn't until later that it was not much later, in the 60s, that it was kind of established that Captain America disappeared during World War II. Like in the comics, it just kind of kept going through like through some of the 50s and stuff.
Yeah.
So retroactively, they said that there was a Captain America of the 1950s, and his name was William Burnside. And eventually, he kind of breaks bad and becomes a fucking neo-Nazi leader called the Grand Director. There's Hate Monger.
How about this, Bracho? Just go with me here. Sin, the daughter of Red Skull.
Oh, daughter Red Skull, yeah.
Because she has affiliations with Serpent Squad and Hydra.
Yeah, she could be a. I mean, she probably wouldn't be the daughter, right? Because he hasn't continued to live on like he has in the comic books. But she could be a descendant. Yeah, we could do Sin.
Because we need some badass females.
Right. Yeah, because going through is like serpent people, King Cobra.
Yep.
Madam Hydra, which is fucking. Well, Contessa wasn't always Madam Hydra, but
it's a pseudonym, kind of.
There's another. There's multiple Madam Hydras.
Okay. They're almost always based on like anti-patriotism ideologies. Like we got the flag smashers, we got these Russians, we got the Chinese communist people.
Right.
The Watchdogs.
Taskmaster, but that can't do that because he's a bad guy in fucking Black Widow. Watchdogs, yeah, those could be in there. Yeah, there's really not many, so it's like you'd have to pillage like either another Marvel villain's bad guy or just like an Avengers bad guy or some shit.
Yeah. Whatever they decide, I'm optimistic because I like Captain America movies. I liked pretty much all the Captain America movies were.
It's my favorite series
best.
in the Marvel
universe. It's the most flawless out of
it's the most
Iron
consistent.
Man. Iron Man, there's kind of hits and misses with like 2 and 3. Like, oh boy.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's mostly misses except for the first one.
The first one, yeah.
You know?
There are parts of 2 that I liked that didn't have Mickey Rourke in it, but just Sam Rockwell. I love that. Like, I love the scene where Sam Rockwell's robots were just killing the people that were piloting him, and then they all turned on Tony and War Machine and they fought him. Like, that's the best. I love that.
Right. And War Machine period. And I was like, yeah, finally. One I actually kind of feel bad for Mickey Rourke because he was supposed to have a much larger role. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was supposed to be like the bad guy. He was the bad guy, but he was almost like the secondary bad guy. Like he was the muscle to Hammer's, intellect.
True.
But he, because Mickey Rourke like went to Russia and like spent time either in a Russian prison or with Russian prisoners, and like studied the accent and like all this stuff. Like he went all out for it. But most of his stuff ended up getting cut, and he was kind of pissed.
That's kind of shitty.
Yeah,
I like Rourke. He's done a lot of really cool projects.
Yeah, weird dude, but done real good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Sin City, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The Wrestler, fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Aronofsky's one of my favorite movies of Aronofsky's that I can actually rewatch.
Right.
I can't really rewatch Requiem or Pi or Mother or Black Swan, but I could rewatch The Wrestler. Sure, I'll rewatch that.
Because like so much of Aronofsky, like this is a digression clearly, but one of the things with Aronofsky is like
Noah.
It's almost
remember Noah?
yeah, it's almost better to watch his movies like one time because it's like when you see it, it's like an experience, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then like you go back and watch them, it doesn't have the same effect, right? So it's kind of like,
Let's just hope.
Social Network too. No, that was Fincher.
Let's just hope Aronofsky's not doing an MCU movie.
Oh God, he almost did Batman.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's concept art for Aronofsky's Batman movie.
Was it going to be the Batman, like, or was it something before Nolan's Batman?
I think it was going to be something of a more like it was before Batman Begins, right?
Okay.
And I think it was going to be a little more of an adaptation of Year One than Batman Begins was. Because Batman Begins does have a lot of Batman Year One in it, but it was weird. The costume was really weird. It kind of created that kind of collar situation that we have in the new one.
Okay.
Yeah. It had that kind of collar around his neck, and then it had the wider Batman ears, kind of like his first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Where like instead of like the kind of straight up whatever, they kind of go out.
Right.
And up.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was weird. But
well,
anyway,
the fact that we're going completely off rails means we should probably just end this and say that Falcon Winter Soldier gets definite thumbs up. I'm super happy with the quality and the level of storytelling that MCU is doing with more streaming based content. I'm down for it. I'm here ready to watch more. WandaVision was a great self-contained mystery kind of show. This is more of a
straight up
politics,
straight up MCU, straight up MCU Captain America stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like it's no different than any of the other movies, like the Cap movies.
Yeah.
Pretty much that, and like I would say too, better consumed in a binge.
Very much so. Yeah, or get some if you have a friend that's an editor, just have him edit the first
Have them do a super
or
cut.
the last 2 episodes into the 4th episode to make it
cut
go
that shit down.
Streamline it.
And I wonder if that wasn't a choice they made after WandaVision. Because WandaVision thrived on the weekly, right?
Yeah.
Like, people were like, oh, what's going to happen? What's this, and this?
What's the next decade?
Disney saw that. Yeah, because it's like, it was the way the show was structured, it wouldn't have worked as well as a binge, WandaVision.
Yeah, and I liked how they put the 2 episodes that were black and white out first, because they're like, oh, people are going to get sick of this right away.
Yep. And then, like, with Falcon Winter Soldier, I almost wonder... I mean, to be fair, all the other stuff on Disney Plus has been weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But, like... Because it does seem like something that, like... You really should just go episode 5 and 6, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Exactly. WandaVision had a lot more interesting concepts behind it, I would say, than this.
Yeah, well, obviously it was less straightforward and stuff. And I think that's what we're going to get to with Loki as well.
Yes, and we will come back in just a Loki minute.
Shake of a lamb's tail.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about Loki, and we're going to watch the trailer and talk a little bit about where we think that's going to lead us into the next phase of MCU. So we'll be back and we'll talk more about Loki.